around here in Jacksonville, Florida, and we're getting ready today to make 6 to 9 new bee buddy colonies. We started this process back in February 15th, and we did it by removing the original queen from her hive in 6 different hives and starting a new colony with her. We removed her, we gave her 4,000 or 5,000 new bees with some honey and pollen and frames for her to lay eggs in, and she's off and running. And we checked them all just earlier here, and they're all doing really well. And in the original hive, we made sure there was still a lot of resources and a lot of bees. We're hoping that they all made enough queen cells for us to now put them into boxes like this. And we're going to do that by we'll swap frames out. So whatever hive that we pull those queen cells out, we'll keep the bees on it and any of the honey and pollen. We'll put it in here, and we'll give this hive also other resources like pollen and nectar, and probably 4,000 or 5,000 bees. And then we also put in here a feeder. We feed them sugar water and a pollen substitute. We would never do that during honey production time, but it's great for a brand new colony because it gives them a chance to build up quicker without having to use so many resources collecting pollen and nectar. So why are we doing it right now? It's because the bees think it's a good time to do this. When they make a new colony, essentially what they're doing is splitting their colony and allowing one portion to go repopulate their species somewhere else. And they look for things like an abundance of new blooms, like we're seeing here. In this case, that's a mustard plant. Last couple of weeks, there's new blooms everywhere. Another indication is when they're bringing in a lot of nectar, like you see in this frame full of open nectar. And they're bringing in lots of pollen, like this frame full of new and different varieties of pollen. You see the different colors. And then another indication would be they begin making clusters of drones. Drones are the males that are going to mate with a virgin queen from a different colony. Drones are very expensive to make, and they don't make them unless there's an abundance of resources coming in. So because we see all this, now we feel confident that the bees will transition into a new colony very organically. Let's get going. Okay, this is a hive that I took the queen out and I put her over here, and she's laying brilliantly. And yesterday I checked, and there were 2 frames with queen cells on them, and but I risk that they've already hatched, and if that's the case, I've got to find that new queen and make sure I transfer her to this box, or at least move her aside so I can put a queen cell in here, because I want to leave these guys queenless for several hours, so they're real eager to accept a new queen. They should accept her anyway because this colony has been without a queen for a couple of weeks. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we got going on here. Well, here's a couple of really great queen cells. Looks like this one's been destroyed, but we do have 2 nice queen cells right there. I don't know if you can see that. And offhand, I do not see a virgin queen running around, but I'll look at the other frame that has a queen cell on it. You'll also notice we have a lot of pollen right here. That's great for when they were feeding this new queen, and they also, in this hive, they've got a lot of nectar, so they're able to do a good job of feeding her. And you can see this hive is just bubbling over with bees. So it was a good colony to make. Oh, I take it back. I found a queen right there. we've got a new queen out, just like I was afraid it was going to happen. And so I'll use this frame and set her back into that colony. So for now, I'll just set her aside. By the way, there is the cell that she came out of. She opened it up just like a submarine hatch. So I put a queen cell in here. There's several queen cells with a whole bunch of bees. These queen cells should hatch out later today or tomorrow. And one, I'm going to put my feeder in, and I'll put a pollen patty on this, which I made up some pollen patties. So this has got some substitute pollen in it, and I'll pour some syrup in that in just a minute, and this one will be all set. I'll go set her onto another location. So all told, we were fairly successful today. Here are 4 of the additional 7 colonies that we were able to make in beyond the 6 where we had pulled the queens out. All told, that should be 13 new colonies. We're going to give these queens 3 to 5 days to mature, and so they can go out and mate. They mate one time for life, and they'll come back and they mature again for another 3 to 5 days and start laying eggs. We're going to be returning in 2 weeks, and so I'll hope to see eggs in all of these new hives, all the 13 new hives. It happens. Not every queen gets back to her colony successfully. A bird may eat her, or any wind may damage her, or she may get lost. That's one of the reasons why we put designs in the front of these colonies, so when she does go out, she'll memorize that design, and it helps her come back to the right place. So stay tuned. We're going to come back in a couple of weeks and see how these guys are doing.